Hello and welcome to my video about the drone batteries for the Parrot Bebop series of drones. Today I'm going to explain to you how to check the batteries, how to determine which ones are suitable for recharging and which ones are good for the bin. As you can see, I have a working drone battery. And this one is about 45% charged, maybe a bit more actually, I tell lies. What I suggest you do is get hold of a multimeter, and what we're going to do is we're going to check these pins under here. So these two for openers, and what we're looking for, if I can stop it from moving, is a good healthy voltage of over 3.5 volts. So that first cell is 3.92. Then we move over to the next two, that is also 3.92, and then on to the last ones, and that is 3.91. That battery is balanced, and the ones I've just probed, I'll show you again, are the first two, second two, and third two. What we don't want to see is a voltage where 2 or 4 of the pins are the same and two of the cells are the same and the last cell is drastically different. If that's the case, the chances of the battery being any good are slim, and at that point, speaking from experience, you will risk your charger. Now basically what happened is the charger recognised the battery was okay and it began charging it. After about 45 minutes the charger became very hot and it switched off. When I turned it all off, I did a cell reading and I got 4.5 volts and something to the order of about 2. That's not a balanced battery. And to see what a broken cell looks like in comparison to a good cell, I actually had 4 batteries come with my drone and not a single one worked. We recovered 2, and I'll explain in a minute how to do that. But actually, I'm going to show you the inside of one of these drone batteries, and I'm going to show you what a good cell looks like. Out of the 3, this is a good cell. It's nicely shaped, and it's a good solid feel. Then we move on to a failing battery, failing cell. If you look, it's now bulging. It's almost bulging like a carrier bag. Now I would like to say that I'd like to stab this and see what happens, but actually apparently these batteries are quite dangerous, having researched. And this was the cell that really was broken. Have a look at that. That's quite serious, and that was causing the charger to misbehave. I don't advocate using those again. To find out if you have a potential problem with the cell, take the battery and look at it lengthwise at eye level. So what you're looking for is to make sure that is smooth. You also run your thumb over it and you'll feel any bulges like so. If that is the case, I would then recommend probing the pins. Like I say, it doesn't matter if the battery is, if your drone says it's nearly flat. What I would advise you do is just make sure that all of those pins, so 1 and 2, 2 and 3, and 3 and 4, are all metering around about the same. That gives you a good indication that each cell is in good order, like this one. Now, the 2 out of the 4 batteries, 2 were irrecoverable. I had the one that I've just demonstrated to you here that's in pieces. That was giving me flashing red lights and it wasn't recovering. And I had another one doing exactly the same. Now, on this battery, the first one I've shown you that was in pieces, 1 cell is good, and 2 are, as you can see before, not very good. Then on the other cell that's also not working, we had 2 good internal cells and 1 that isn't. And the plan is eventually is to perhaps try, and I don't recommend you do this unless you're very, very skilled with a soldering iron and have a terrific amount of confidence, is to actually build a battery out of the broken cells. I'm deciding on that myself at the moment. Then obviously once you've done that, or once I've done it, I'll put a video up and let you know how it goes. So now we're moving on to tricking the charger into working. A lot of people seem to think that you can trick a charger. Well, actually you can, but it has its side effects, and that is if you haven't checked the cells, you don't know what you're tricking the charger to do. And in our case, we were a little bit ignorant towards what was going on, and we just charged it anyway, and it nearly cost the charger. I cannot emphasize and stress enough how much it is well worth metering out those batteries. We had 2 batteries that did absolutely nothing, no flashing lights, no nothing. And I took one of the broken batteries and shoved it into the charger, and that gives you an 8-second period of a solid red light, and that's 8 seconds of charging, so to speak. And all I did was take the battery that didn't work and one that was flashing red, and I stuck the one that was flashing red into the charger, got the red light going, and incredibly quickly swapped it over and put the battery that wasn't charging in. And I did that probably 3 times before the charger then recognised the one that had no response to it at all. And then I left it and it went green. And I repeated the process again with the other battery that I had. And that also went green. The one thing I didn't mention was actually about 10 minutes into the charge, I pulled the battery out and just checked those prongs to make sure that the cells were doing what they should be doing. Otherwise I was going to risk the charger again, and thankfully it was working. So while the flashing red lights is a good thing for batteries that you know are okay, but there's a slight error, I would suggest always meter the batteries. And I suppose actually as a final check, what you could always do with your meter is probe the battery at the end and get a collective voltage. Obviously now at full charge I know that we're expecting it to be well over 12 volts, and we're looking here at 1177, so that's actually not too far down, but actually that could go back on a charge for half an hour and that would top it off just nicely and fly the drone. I hope this has been of use. Don't hesitate to drop me any questions. Thank you very much.